Hello, I'm Denise Lamman, your host for Chamber Chat. And joining me today is Mary Walker with the Wayne County Tourism Bureau and Mary Jo Clark, a board member of several organizations and an active community member. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
I think that you guys are here to talk to us about a big event that's coming to Wayne County for us, and this is the third year or the fourth year for this tourism conference to be here. The third year?
Yep.
Well, it's an exciting thing because I've gotten to attend it, and I learned so much, and the speakers are fantastic, and everything is great. So share with us what it actually is and what's coming and who's doing what.
Okay. The first year, we've had a theme each year, and the first year was Connect for Success. Last year was Create for Success, and this year will be Activate for Success. And it's a Indiana-Ohio Regional Tourism Conference. It's a one-day conference, and we've positioned the conference to have over 3 tracks of 21 session topics plus our keynote. And it's just something that we did it twofold purposes. One is to have a really inexpensive, quality educational conference for our local attractions, businesses, and it doesn't even have to be tourism related. They can be any business. There'll be plenty of takeaways in no matter what industry that you're in. And then the second full purpose was for visitors to come in, and we had people from Evansville, Indianapolis, Dayton, Putnam County, Byrne.
Northern part of the state, all over.
We had over 165 last year attend our second year conference.
That's a lot. That's a lot of sessions to be able to
So there's
offer.
lots to pick from, lots of different tracks and topics.
Well, what we decided was that here in Wayne County, we have a lot of places that people should come and see.
Oh, yeah.
And many of them had not talked to each other, because the more we can connect destinations, the better off it can be. So when people come to Warm Glow, they need to know to come into Richmond and to go to the depot area or to go to the downtown area. So our original plan was, if we can connect all these people, well, other people from around the state heard about it and decided they wanted to be part of it too. So last year we talked about being creative, because besides connecting, then you've got to do something in a different way. Why should I come here as opposed to going to Indianapolis or going to Lafayette or going to somewhere else?
Right.
And so we were saying, be creative, do things in a completely different way. And so last year the presenter that came talked about all creative ways of doing things. So this year we're saying, let's do something beyond that. And so we're having a fabulous speaker who many people in Richmond have already heard. It's Peter Kagiana, who was here with IU East last year because his book, which is For the Love of Cities, was the book that everyone read in the community, and he spoke to people about wonderful things. Well, he has a new book, and that is called Love Where You Live. So he's going to come and be our opening presenter and will be our closing presenter, so people get a chance to hear him twice.
Absolutely.
And then he's staying the next day and doing a workshop for the Grassroots Center downtown. But I said to him, when Mary and I talked to him, our goal is next year when you put out your third book, we want Wayne County to be featured in a main way in that book.
That's right.
And he said that he was going to make that happen, didn't he?
Well, yes, because we're paying him to come, aren't we, Mary? Yes, he will, because he's going to discover that when he was here before, he talked about things we could do.
Yes.
And we've done a lot of those.
We have.
We've done so many of them, and we're going to make sure he sees all these things. And then he's going to talk about more things, and we're going to do them. Because Richmond is momentum on a roll, and Wayne County is doing the same. We are doing wonderful things, and he's going to see all those things because he's been terribly impressed by what we've done so far.
Wow, he'll really be amazed when he comes back
Yes.
this year and sees what we have accomplished and, well, actually what his talk has spurred.
Yes.
us to accomplish.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see
And he's
how
such a
he reacts.
motivational speaker. His message is right on with what we as a community and as a county should be doing in each of our businesses, the community attachment, engagement. It's just something that in all of our businesses, every day, everything that we do, we should be really implementing.
And he says to people, just do it.
Right.
Don't sit back and worry
Right.
too much about what you're going to do things. Do low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Because what he talks so much about is being emotionally engaged with your community. The reason people love a community is not because the potholes have been filled. No. It's not because of a
But it
whole
helps.
variety of those things that we spend money on. He says it's an emotional engagement, and it's because they have a favorite restaurant, because they love to go to Roscoe's and have coffee in the morning, because they go downtown at a certain time and enjoy things because they go to the park to the big event that we have in the Rose Garden. That's what connects people to their
Experiences.
community. So that's why love where you live is so important. And we're using that in the leadership class for them to talk about, because he says when you do things for the community, make sure you're doing something that's fun. Make sure that you're doing something that engage all kinds of people. Make sure that you're looking at what can we do to make this a more beautiful place, a safer place to live, a place that people say, this is what I call home. And we don't call home because necessarily we have a special job here. We call home because we do wonderful things here. So that's what he talks about, and he's going
Absolutely.
to be wonderful.
He's going to be awesome.
But Mary, tell him where we're going to have it, because I think
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
exciting.
We are having it in the new Center for the Visual and Performing Arts at Earlham. And so it's the brand new facility.
I hadn't heard that.
Yes, so we're excited about that. Earlham is a great co-partner with our conference, and they've been, Lynn Knight and her staff has just been fabulous to work with. And so that'll be exciting, and it'll be a way for us to, we've tried every year to expose our locals as well as our visitors to, as Mary Jo said earlier, assets in our community. And so last year was at the Richmond Art Museum, and this year will be at Earlham, and it'll just be a great way to expose people to this marvelous multi-million-dollar facility that's right in our own backyard.
Because our goal constantly is to do it in a creative, different way.
Right.
Because that's what attracts
Right.
people to the community. So people came from French Lick last year, and they were at the Art Museum. And they said to me, I wish we had this in French Lick. Now, they've got those fabulous buildings, those wonderful things. He said, we have nothing like
Yes.
this here. I wish we had this in French Lick. The Evansville people came. They were so impressed by the Art Museum. They said, we'll have to come back to see this museum. This is a wonderful place. So we're going to take them to Earlham College. And when they see that new Performing Arts Center, oh my gosh, are they going to enjoy it.
Wow.
And the trees are going to be out. It's not going to rain. It's going to be absolutely a gorgeous day.
Right.
And we'll be inside and outside, and it's going to be fabulous.
Well, and we probably should mention the date.
Yes, that would be good.
Thursday, June 11th. So it'll be a nice summer day.
Beautiful
and
time.
Yep, and it'll be a one-day conference, 8:30 to 3:30.
And because it's at the Performing Arts Center, we decided we need to have some special things that will be involved with the performing and the other kind of arts. So one of the things people will have an opportunity to do is to make some tiles out of clay, and we're going to put that together for a beautiful vase that will be connecting everyone's tile, and then will be fired, and it will be on display somewhere, and you can say, there's my tile,
right.
and I put my name there,
It'll be
or
fun.
I picked some flowers and pressed it into that, so people will have a chance to do that. We're looking at things that they can do. You know, so many people go to the Canvas and Cork and Kansas Canvas programs.
That's coming, one of them's
Yes.
coming up on Friday.
And they're fun.
Mhm.
We may, and we're working on having some people to be able to do a canvas that they can take home at the end. And having arts at the end so that people can see and participate. It's also near the Shakespearean Festival time, so there will be some of that involved. So when people are there, they not only learn, but they're going to experience something.
Right.
Again, we're trying to emotionally connect them to the experience.
And the experience will do that. I mean, that is just, that's your connection, is what you feel when you're doing something that makes you feel good. that builds that experience and that
But the
memory and
important-
connection.
The
Absolutely.
thing that we think is really important is that everyone in Richmond say, I could go to that.
Right.
Because it's not just, do I have a destination place the tourists come? It's not just, do I have a restaurant that serves tourists? It's everyone has a way to make the whole community a tourist attraction, a place where people come and enjoy. So we like to say, everyone's invited. If you want a creative experience, come and spend the day with us.
And a high energy experience, as you've
Yes.
experienced in the
Yes.
past. And I do think it is important, just speaking a little bit more to that any business, the topics that we are going to have will range from marketing, technology, digital marketing, communications, customer service. All of these topics and more will really be topics that every business, no matter if they are tourism related, can weave into their own business. And so it's something that I think we just want to encourage all businesses to participate because it's right in their own backyard. And it's a great conference.
But we also ought to mention a little of the things that people that perhaps watch this program might get involved in helping underwrite the conference.
Absolutely.
Because Earlham will be one of the underwriters because they're providing us the facility. The Tourism Bureau is one of the underwriters. We're putting it together. We will have others, and anyone that has a business that they say, I would like to help underwrite, which means I would like to help support the financing of that so that we can encourage people from all over the Midwest to come. All they have to do is call Mary, and we'll talk to them and arrange for their name to be on all kinds of things.
Yes.
So if they underwrite, what did they get, Mary?
Well, depending on the costs that they underwrite, the sponsorship levels, there'd be a variety of different things. Whether it's, we always give something to the guest upon their sign-in, their registration. So it would be on that, it would be on banners, it would be on our website, it would be an e-blast, it would be on our mailers. You know, depending on what their level would be, they would become a partner of the conference. And it provides great exposure. As we said, we had 165 people. We expect to have a minimum of about 200 people for this conference, anywhere from 2 to 250.
Nice.
So
That's
if
a lot
anyone
of
is interested,
exposure.
they can call us at 765-935-8687.
Or they can look up the Tourism
Yes.
Bureau, and they can do that, or they can call any of us,
Yes.
because we would like to have as many people involved in this process as we possibly can. And if someone is saying, I want to start something that could be a tourist attraction, this is the place to
Yes.
come. If someone is saying, I have a restaurant, but I really want to connect it to other people so that I can get other people to come. Or I have a business, but I don't know how to connect it with other similar businesses
Right.
in the area. We're going to have sessions that are going to teach them how
Right.
to do that. Or I don't know how to market. I don't know how to get online and do all these wonderful
Social
creative
media
things
things
Yes.
that all these
Exactly.
young people can do.
Right?
And we'll have sessions that will teach them how to do that. So whatever the needs are, I think they're going to find it at this conference.
And the neat thing, too, in addition to the educational value, is really, as you just said, the networking.
Yes.
The ability to talk with others and say, well, gee, you know, we're about the same size. What kinds of things? Oh, you're doing this? That's great. I mean, there are no really new ideas. They're ideas that have been modified and developed, and so there's so many different takeaways that people can do, whether
Right.
it's networking, whether it's case studies. We'll be having case studies as well of things to do and not to do in various scenarios.
Well, and some people ask the question, why do some organizations have so many volunteers and I don't? Well, we'll have someone that will talk about, here's how we get the volunteers. Here's how we keep the volunteers. Here's how we bring in more volunteers, because that's a real art. And not everyone knows how. That was one of the favorite programs that we had last year. Another thing, Cope Environmental Center has just gone through and going through a major fundraising. To them to talk to others and say, this is what it takes to do what we are doing. And this is how you can partner with us, because they're partnering with all kinds of groups. Or to have groups to learn how to, we call it kind of unusual partnerships. When one group says, I never thought about partnering with you. I know that COPE has started to partner with the Joseph Moore the museum on the Earlham campus, because they said if people take a day out to bring their kids, the school brings the classroom to Cope. Since they've already got the bus, why don't they go to
Right.
2 places?
Right.
Right.
Well, that was a very
Double the
creative way
experience.
of
Yes.
connecting with things. So we have sessions on how do you connect in ways that you hadn't even thought of. And when you get some real creative people to sit there and talk with you, and then we provide some one-on-one consultation for people so that if they say, I've got a special problem, we are able to connect them and say, well, so-and-so coming from northern Indiana has had a similar problem.
Right.
So let's connect you so you can talk together and see how they solve theirs and how you can solve yours. So whatever your needs are, come and we'll help you solve them.
Right. And the other neat part of this is that all the speakers, even at lunchtime, will have essentially table topics. And so the speakers will be accessible to the participants as well to say, hey, I was just in your session and you were talking about this. Could you explain that a little bit more to me? And
So
It's
kind
not
of
one
on
more-
a small one-on-one
Yes.
group type of
Yeah.
thing instead
or
of
table-wise. It could be 5
The
or 6
presenters
people.
don't whip in and whip out.
Right.
And Peter will be with us all day. So he'll present in the morning and present later in the day. We've got a whole day that you can sit down and that's how he happened to be coming back for a workshop that he will do on Saturday or Friday or Saturday of the weekend because he connected with other people when he was here before and they said, hey, we could do more while you're here.
Right.
So, so you get a lot of ways of connecting and individually talking to people.
Yes.
And by working together, you can utilize
The
resources.
Yes.
That are
Leveraging
at
those,
hand.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, Mary Jo, you touched on something that I want you to expand on, and I was fortunate enough to attend the Institute for Creative Leadership, not this past year,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and you taught us about chaos. And you just kind of touched on that. And I don't think people realize how important, and we hear the word networking all the time, but would you expand just a little bit on the comparison with networking and chaos and how that works and gets people to come together and do things collaboratively instead of
Yes.
individually or in smaller sections?
Well, you're asking the right question. We're in, tomorrow night is the 3rd session that we will have of the Institute for Creative Leadership. And then next week will be the 4th session. Then they're all going to be involved in doing projects for our community. And they've been working out of Peter's book, so they're very familiar with all that. And tomorrow night, one of the things we're going to teach is talking about chaos. Because there are specific stages a group goes to be a performing group. And people aren't aware of that. They just think if you put 20 people in a room together for a period of time, it will be a performing group. Well, it's not. So you have to spend time. If you just network people together, that's not going to make them a performing group either. That's a nice experience that they meet new people, but you have to teach them the processes that you go through, and you have to have that gathering time where people build trust, not gathering time where people are just in the same place, but where they build trust, they learn the stories of each other. Margaret Wheatley tells us that you can't hate a person whose story you know. So you have to spend time hearing people's stories. Where did they come from? And when you know those, you say, now I know why she does what she does or she acts the way she does. And then once you've got that, every group automatically goes into chaos. It just happens. But chaos isn't always bad. Chaos
No.
is bad if you stay there. And too many groups and too many families are in chaos and they think it's the normal state. But chaos, you can work out of chaos because you educate people, you help them to get to know things, you help them to create a vision, you help them to understand themselves and what gifts they bring to the table. Because often I'm difficult because I don't think you appreciate the gifts I have and the talents that I have and what I can do for the group. But if people begin to know what those are, then
Right.
they understand things and then they begin to work better together. So we help people have a vision, Last week we went to the parking garage. They looked at the parking garage and they were working on a vision for that to make that a more effective place for people to park in the community. This week they are going to learn about their learning styles, how they relate to other people and how they can communicate better with other people. Then they're going to be on a team and they're going to say, how can this team work better together? What do I know about you? What do I know about what Mary's going to bring to the group? What do I know about everyone's bringing to the group? And how can we blend those to make that work? So, yeah, when you learn those processes, then you begin to be ready for a group to perform well together. But you have to go through that.
And that's what he's going to talk on this.
Part
time,
of what
right?
he's going to
Action?
talk about that
Activate,
too.
yes. Activate
and
your.
action.
How do you
Yeah.
get that group to
That's right.
really do something? And that's what we're going to talk about.
And if he brings half the ideas or motivates us in half the ways that he did when he was here last year, we'll be catapulted even further into
And we'll have
what
more
we've got
time with
going
him
on.
this time.
Yes, we
more
will.
time to really get
We will.
ideas out.
Right. I don't know if you've heard of one of the projects that someone did in Seattle. It's taking a negative and making it a positive. And one of his examples of this is in Seattle, it rains all the time.
That's true.
And are you aware of what I'm going to say?
I think so.
It was awesome. They found this repellent
Yes.
that went on the sidewalks and buildings and everything, and the only time it would appear is when it rained, and it would have positive messages. And when I read that, I thought, that is so cool. I mean, it's those simple things, the low-hanging fruit, that we all have a role to play in making that happen. And it was just like, that is awesome. You're taking a negative and look at that positive.
Yes, and it is a positive. And when I seen that, I went into Trevor. Of course, he's a lot younger than I am, and he sees things differently than I do and looks at things from a different perspective. So I told him I'm all excited and I'm, just bubbling.
Like I was.
And
We should
I
have
said,
called each
Trevor,
other.
did you see this? Have you seen? And he says, yeah, I've seen that. And I went, I want to do something with it.
Yes.
Help me do something with it. He says, we can think about it. He said, but I want to show you something else. So you out there, if you have a computer, check this out because it totally blew me away too. But have you guys heard of reverse graffiti?
No.
Yes.
Have you? I thought maybe you.
What is it?
And he pulled it up on the computer. It's where you take maybe a wall, like under a bridge or an underpass that is kind of looks dirty, but you know how moisture kind of makes stone darker.
Yes.
And you actually clean it into a picture. So the dark part is still there, but you clean with like power hoses or something, a design
That's
into it.
cool.
It blew me away just about as much as the Seattle
That's
thing.
cool.
See, there's
So-
so many ideas
Yes.
like that are simple. Trevor has another idea where people are putting stickers on things that are
I
good
can't
for the
wait till
community.
he kicks that off. The love bug.
Yes.
Susan Isaac has a project where she has $500 for people that have creative things to do and make the community better. You don't have to be a not-for-profit. You can just be a person that
individual.
says, I have an idea, and submit it, and if her board decides that's a good idea, you get $500 to make the project work.
Right.
Those are cool things.
And you can do a lot of fun things, which is $500.
Yes.
And I'll just put a little plug in at that point. Michael Scott from IU East decided that the Centerville downtown park needed new equipment.
I read that.
And he applied for a $500 project because he thought, if nothing else, if I can get that $500, I can paint some things and I can put swings that won't
don't-
pinch the
right.
kids' fingers and replace the infant swings. He says, I can do that with that $500. And that's what started him and the Chamber Center for Excellence on the route to replacing the playground equipment in Centerville's
That's
park.
exciting.
Isn't that exciting?
And
It is.
I mean, just that little piece now is grown.
See,
So-
what Peter says is we're all co-creators in our community. Co-creators, which means everyone steps forward and does what they can do. It could be very simple, but you're not going to build a new building, but low-hanging fruit says you can make that building that's there look better.
That's right.
Yes.
You can plant some flowers, you can plant a tree, you can have some fun things that people can do at that facility. So co-creators are the people in the community that step forward to make it a better place.
And anybody can do that if they take
Everybody can
a
do that.
positive.
Everyone can, you're right.
Yes, everybody.
So
All
come to our
people.
conference and we'll help them
That's
learn
right.
how to do that.
That's right. And open up your window and look out.
Yes.
Meet people on the street, and if you bump into Mary Jo or if you bump into Mary Walker, ask them. They'll give you some direction, and you'll enjoy every minute of it.
Right.
So I really thank you, ladies, for coming and sharing today on Chamber Chat. It's been very exciting for me,
Thank you.
and it has given me a warm, bubbly feeling.
thank
So I look forward to the conference this year.
You'll be there on the
And-
11th.
Yes.
Of
June.
course I'll be there. Amy, can I be there? Yeah. Of course. And thank you so much. And we will put the information, the contact information on slides, so the community that's watching this will have that information. And I hope that it continues to grow each year. So thank you, ladies, for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for joining us on Chamber Chat.